whether or not to oppose the application. And yeah, it's now for the defense to indicate whether they are going to oppose the application or not, Madam.
Any opposition from the defense?
Thank you, my lord. I went through the heads of argument that were prepared by the state, as were forwarded to me yesterday. Now I realize that this is exactly what we were busy with on Friday, or what we dealt with on Friday, except for 1 or 2 additions, where the state seeks to give justification on the reason why this information was not led in examination in chief. The state is alleging that the reason why this information, insofar as it relates to number 3, was not led in examination in chief is that the state was solely focusing on the identity of the suspect by way of his clothing and the dreadlocks. And they are saying this with specific reference to accused number 3. In other words, the state seeks to tell this court that in their evidence in chief, they were only concerned about the identity of the suspect who got into the house, the gun-toting suspect, by way of his clothing and the dreadlocks. But now this is a misnomer. This is not the case. Because Brigadier Kininda specifically indicated that when he made an application to the magistrate for the warrant of arrest of the accused, he specifically indicated in Exhibit 20 ZZ and this is what it says in Exhibit ZZ, that photos downloaded and taken of the accused by himself, in brackets selfies, match the description of the suspect, who had a firearm with dreadlocks, big eyes, and with a gold teeth. This is the suspect that went into the house, made a demand of a cell phone and money. He is also the same suspect that shot the deceased in the matter during the struggle with him. Now, with this information, it is therefore not accurate to say that the state only concentrated on the clothing of the suspect and the dreadlocks only, because this evidence, which was introduced by or through the affidavit of Brigadier Kininda, which was admitted on record as Exhibit ZZ, they is also specifically referred to the golden teeth, or the gold teeth that this suspect is described in the paragraph that I've already read, had. But even beyond that,
as you can all already tell, Mnisi Wemvula, bib number 37137 in the Comrades Marathon, is back like he never left, and ready to proceed with his reply, to Advocate Baloyi'S request not to have, his request to have the new photos added into the record. But here's the thing. Baloyi did his heads of argument, and then that was yesterday, Monday. Mnisi Wemvula was not inside Phakathi, the courtroom. Accused number 1 and 3 were being represented in his absentia by Advocate by Sipho Ramasipili. And then when Baloyi finished his heads of arguments, the state sat down, and then they had to consult with the clients to see what is their decision with regards to what Baloyi has said. And then guess what? Accused number 3 said, you know what? We hear you, Baloyi. My lord, I implore you to adjourn the court at this moment, because I need to discuss this with Advocate Mnisi Wemvula, who is presently not inside Phakathi, the courtroom, but I only want to consult with him. So accused number 3 forced the judge's hand to adjourn the court. Why do I get the feeling that this was planned? Why do I get the feeling that accused number 3 Umtobisi Prince Ncube is fully informed of his rights by his advocate Mnisi Wemvula. Anytime, he probably said, anytime, if anything, you're not feeling comfortable with it, just tell the judge to adjourn, okay? You see, us as attorneys, we are creatures of instructions. We are forced, we are compelled to follow your instructions. And if that is your instruction, the court will adjourn. And we saw the court take that adjournment, which to me I think was brilliant. A brilliant way to cover up. But then guess what? Who would have thought Mnisi would come in such fine shape, fine form, mentally present? I was nervous that he wouldn't be mentally present. Someone in the comment section, when I asked, because they were inside Pagati, the race, and they finished at 7 hours and done. Okay, way ahead of Mnisi Wemvula, but that's not important. The important part is their answer when I said, tell me something. What does recovery look like? And he says, yeah. it's not an easy thing. Okay, and I said, okay, cool, fair. When are you going back to work? And he says, I'm going back to work on Wednesday. I was like, wow, okay. So I was nervous about Mnisi coming in, but this is Mnisi Wemvula. We should have known better, okay? We should have known better. He was ready, okay? He didn't even read from a paper. He was sharp as iron, okay? He gave an amazing response. I'm not even going to interrupt it. I want you guys to hear it yourself, because not only did he give an amazing response, Mnisi is a master of words. Forget that he went to school at Mandle to high school and the English that they were taught was not English yet. Forget that. He's brilliant because he used Baloyi. Okay, he praised Baloyi to respond. And he said, there is no way a whole experienced state advocate, prosecutor, and not just one, 3 of them, all of them, did not meticulously look through all this evidence before presenting it to the court. There is no way that did not happen, done. But you know what? Let me let you listen to it yourself. And hear Mnisi Wemvula give Baloyi his flowers, okay? While he's still alive. And then once he was done, Mnisi took back those flowers and trampled on them. Here goes.
When I cross-examined Brigadier Kininda, with this information that is contained in this paragraph that I've just read, I requested him to specifically refer us to Exhibit to Exhibit S, where these identifying features of this in this suspect were, or in this suspects were the suspect with the dreadlocks, the big eyes, and the golden teeth. He tried the best that he can to identify the suspect with the dreadlocks. I even said to him, no, it's not in dispute that accused number 3 on the day in question, on the date of the incident, had dreadlocks. This is apparent from the selfies that he actually took himself on the day of the on the 24th, on the 26th of October 2014. But the description of the dreadlocks that is mentioned by witnesses who were in the house differ materially from that which from the dreadlocks that are visible in the selfies that he took. The big eyes. He tried to give an explanation that I still cannot even understand now. But the issue here is about the gold teeth. When Brigadier Kininda was requested by me to direct us to a photo is contained in Exhibit S, a photo that denotes that the suspect had a golden teeth, he referred to this court to photo number 15 in Exhibit S. He specifically referred to this court to number 15 and said that is accused number 3, and there's a golden teeth. And in fact, that photo number 15, I'm not an expert, but when one looks at it, is a photo that would have been taken on the 24th of November 2014. On the 23rd of November 2014. When one looks at it, to the right-hand side of the upper teeth line, I don't know what to call it now. Yes. there appears to be something that is shiny there. I will assume that's the gold, and that is exactly what Brigadier Kininda referred to when he said, yeah, no, this is accused number 3, and we can see here that on the upper, on this upper jaw, there's a golden teeth. Now, one wonders whether the picture that is denoted there is one of accused, exemplifies accused number 3, or that's a picture of accused number 3. It is clear to all and sundry, and this is beyond reproach, that that cannot be accused number 3. That is not accused number 3, and that will never be accused number 3. Now, the state further seeks to justify the fact that it is basically the state, and I'm killing this from the heads of argument of the state, that this information was extensively canvassed by the defense in the cross-examination of Brigadier Kininda. That is incorrect. That is incorrect. We never at any point ever suggested that accused number 3 had a golden teeth. That was not our evidence. This evidence came from the state itself. It is Brigadier Kininda who, when he made an application to the magistrate for the arrest of accused number 3, made this, indicated in his affidavit that accused number 3 had a golden teeth. And that is contained in his affidavit. Now the state seeks to justify their omission to lead to this evidence by saying that it was canvassed by the defense. As I'm saying, it was never our case. We have admitted many a time that most of the photos that are appearing on Exhibit S, indeed, some of them are selfies, some of them are photos which denote how accused number 3 looked on the 26th of October 2014. But at no point, and at no point, did we ever made an assumption that accused number 3 at some stage had a golden teeth. And in fact, I remember when Brigadier Kininda was testifying, if my memory serves me well, there was an issue with regard to the doctor who took, where accused number 2 was taken for a dental investigation on whether or not he had a golden teeth. I remember the doctor came and told this court, or there was information that was placed before court here, that the doctors are able to see whether or if a person had some gold dentures or something like that, or some golden teeth, irrespective of the period that they had been having that golden teeth. And I specifically remember the court saying, no, it can't be. A person with a golden teeth in 2014, it is impossible for them to, it is impossible for doctors to come and state with certainty that after 6 or 7 years, or even 14 or 8 years, to come and say that such a person had a golden teeth. But the doctors, insofar as Ntanzi was concerned, that doctor who came here, that medical doctor, he was able to tell that Ntanzi never had a golden teeth in 2014 when his examination was done in 2020. That is one of the requests that we actually put forward, that if the state insists that accused number 3 had a golden teeth, because this is their evidence, we are going to request that accused number 3 should go through the same process as well, for determination by a medical expert whether or not accused number 3 had a golden teeth at the time of the commission of this evidence. But importantly, again, my lord, is the fact that at the time of the presentation of this evidence, the state already had this information. The state alleges that they gave us this information just before the commencement of the trial, which was contained in those 700 photos. We don't dispute that. It is indeed so. But the question, therefore, is, and I cannot doubt that the state did a sterling job, did a proper investigation. Each and every piece of evidence that they wanted to present to the court, they went through it, analyzed it meticulously. And I'm not only speaking about a state that was seated as an individual person. I'm talking about a state that was a case that was prepared by 3 extremely experienced prosecutors, advocates, extremely competent people. I may also add that I have no doubt in my mind that the head of the department of the Director of Public Prosecutions here, Pretoria Advocate Mzinyathi, would now and then come and check whether or not the investigation or the evidence that the state was trying to gather in order to come and present here was all in place. Now, it strikes one very, very strange that at the time of the presentation of such a crucial evidence, the state would have missed these particular photos that they seek to present now. And the state specifically says, no, we're able to identify these photos at the time at which Advocate Mnisi was afforded the opportunity to go and prepare, whilst reading for those 40,000 pages, to come and assist accused number 1 in the cross-examination of Brigadier Kininda. I know, my lord, there is nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong in the state to continue to investigate the case whilst the trial is proceeding. But this is totally different because the state already had that information. If this information was material and if this information was relevant, when I say information, I'm referring to the pictures of accused number 3 that the state is seeking to introduce now as new evidence. If this was so material and so relevant, it would definitely not have skipped the state's mind. This is just a pure indication that this information is totally irrelevant, because had it been relevant, it would have been led by then. Introduction of a new evidence in the course of a trial, or when the trial is proceeding, has got a propensity to prejudice the case of the accused person, because accused person then has got to take some 100 steps backwards to try and fathom what is it that could have been said against him, what is it that had all of a sudden prompted the state to come with this information. Could this be in line with this defense and all those factors, my lord? But the primary consideration here is that there is no valid reason why this information was not accused by the state in the examination in chief of Brigadier Kininda, based on the background that I've already sketched out. Reference might be had to all the cases that deal about the fairness of justice, what is contained in state versus Hepworth and everything. But the state needs to come up with compelling reasons, not just reasons of a cursory nature, but compelling reasons why they did not provide this, or they did not bring forth this evidence through Brigadier Kininda when he testified in his evidence in chief, my lord. I would therefore request that in the interest of justice, that this evidence should not be admitted, my lord. Thank you.
Imagine that, completing the comrades race and coming back into Judge Ratta's courtroom and giving the first response, not the last, not the first response to Advocate Baloyi'S request to add in the additional photos and in his heads of argument. And Mnisi says, you know what? I cannot doubt that the state did a sterling job, a proper investigation. Each and every piece of evidence that they wanted to present to the court, they went through it, analyzed it meticulously. And I'm not speaking of a state as an individual person. I'm talking about a case that was prepared by 3 extremely experienced prosecutors, advocates, extremely, extremely competent people. Do you see the flowers, ladies and gentlemen? The flowers. I'm sure, cameraman should have just gone pa on Baloyi. We would have seen him smiling with pride. That's right. Call me by my name, okay, Advocate Baloyi. But Mnisi proceeds to say, I may also add that the head of the Director of Public Prosecutions would have also been checking on this. So now there's 4 extremely, extremely, extremely competent people and an overseer, okay? It strikes one. And this is where Mnisi takes all those words back. It's like taking a piece of paper and crumpling up. Mnisi takes back the flowers and throws them on the ground and flogs and flogs and flogs a dead horse until it comes alive. And he says, it strikes one very, very strange that the state would have missed these particular photos that they seek to present now. We doubt. We were about to identify during the time Okay, and the state literally says we only found them, and the state literally says we only found them when Mnisi was reading his 60,000 pages, and we had free time on our hands, and we went back. And this is like, I call BS. Okay, and not only that, he goes on to say we will never, never accept that the photos that Gininda was adamant, photo number 15, that is accused number 3, and he says that is not accused number 3. It will never be accused number 3. Don't even play with my client like that. And do you see why? Accused number 3 said, I only want Mnisi Wemvula to respond and nobody else. If it takes a year for us to wait for him, so be it. Well done, Mnisi. I, for one, was thoroughly impressed. Like, I'm not even gonna hold you. I'm not gonna pretend otherwise. I thought, he was gonna come back to court because he must be there. He was gonna come back as an exhausted man. Boy, am I wrong. Boy, was I wrong. Boy, did he deliver. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on my next upload. Bye.